Back on the Charles, still a perfect day for rowing. Temperature right around 60 degrees. Pretty calm waters. The headwind is kicked down a little bit from its peak during that fourth varsity race. We're set for the second varsity JV head-to-head between Harvard, Penn, and Navy. Harvard's JV boat was maybe the highlight of the weekend last weekend against Princeton, an impressive win against the Tigers at that JV race.
Yeah, the JV rode really, really great last week. Really aggressive, really high. Took control of the race early, and I think they'll probably try to do the exact same thing here today.
Give you the lineup, starting with Harvard. Jacqueline Goodman, the sophomore, is the coxswain. In the stroke seat, freshman Liam Corrigan. Sophomore Travis Taff in seat 7. Junior Henry Kennelly in seat 6. Freshman Lars Lorsch in seat 5. Sean Vendernell, junior, in seat 4. Senior Akam Harzheim in seat number 3. Senior Adam James in seat 2. And freshman Sammy Mayer in that bow seat. So 4 freshmen for the Crimson in this JV boat.
And Sean rode in the varsity last week and was recently moved down in favor of Alexander Richards, who's rowing in the varsity today.
So it's a very talented 2V and 1V for the Crimson as they look to take the Adams Cup in our 1V race, which comes your way at 9:12. Harvard has won the 3V today. BU raced in the 4V and 5V and won both of those races. Harvard beat Navy in the 4V. Navy beat Harvard in the 5V. Running through the lineup for the midshipmen, the coxswain is sophomore Nick Street. The stroke is junior Scott Gibson. Senior Alejandro Fernandez in seat 7. Senior Tony Galli in seat 6. In seat 5, it's sophomore Klaus Payne. In seat 4, it's sophomore Ben Dunphy. Freshman Brandon Sagawina is in seat number 3. Freshman David Russell in seat 2. And the bow is sophomore Parker Novakovic. Penn, again, keeping their lineups under wraps until after the race today. So you can find the results online with the Penn lineups. But for now, just a mystery 8 in the boat for the Quakers, who will be at the bottom of your picture, Harvard in the middle, and Navy up top.
No man buns. No man buns.
Now, the 1 and 3V was enough for everybody on the Quakers. Do have a couple of headbands in this look, though.
They're bringing it.
Now, Harvard looking to take the JV race for the second consecutive week after that impressive win against Princeton. Just found out that Princeton lost by about 7 seats to Yale in that big marquee matchup of the weekend. Top-ranked Yale stays undefeated.
And that's sort of the last big checkpoint before we go to sprints. Everyone will have another race or two before sprints, but I think that was the last sort of duel everyone had their eyes on and curious to see the results about. So everyone can sort of benchmark themselves now in where they need to improve to in order to, do well or think about winning sprints.
Harvard's here again next week in their final duel before they get going for sprints. And sprints, national championship, and then finish things off with Yale in early June. And of all the years, this may be the toughest Harvard-Yale head-to-head, as the Crimson will likely knock off a team that could be the national champion.
Yeah, Yale had a great end of the year last year and beat the defending national champion Washington at Henley over in England. So, I think that Yale crew is trying to win a national championship for themselves since they know they have the speed, and everyone's trying to knock them off.
And Navy at the top, Harvard in the middle, Penn at the bottom. This is the JV race. Our 4th of 5 races today here on the Charles. And right at the start, the wind's starting to kick up again, a headwind here in the basin.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of a crosswind. You see the 2 seats paddling the boats to stay straight, and so that means they're getting blown to the left and have to paddle to straighten out. And we have a start here.
Off and running in the JV race between Navy, Harvard, and Penn.
And another aggressive start for that JV. Coming off really high, had them at 45.
This is an exciting boat for Harvard when you look at that mix of youth and veteran experience. The fact there are 4 freshmen in the group really shows you the bright future this Harvard rowing program has again.
Absolutely. And I have Navy that came out at a 50 for those first 10 strokes, really flying. And Penn sticking in the mix here as well, which is good to see. Really competitive race so far across all 3 boats.
Harvard ranked 5th overall, Navy ranked 12th overall. Penn is in the top 20. The Quakers this season are ranked at 13th.
And the JV is pulling away quickly yet again. We're probably 10 strokes to the 500, and they've got 8 seats over Navy, 4 over Penn, A good aggressive start again. And we see that the Navy boat's settled now to a more sustainable rate. The Penn crew seems a little high still, and they could pay for that as this race moves on.
Coming out hot after their training on the Schuylkill River. Worth noting, if you want to see an amazingly produced video about Penn rowing, check out their YouTube page. It's one of the best videos about why you row. All these different Penn athletes talking about what they love about the craziness of waking up and getting out on the river at about 6 a.m. and going through their training.
Yeah, it's great for them. Looks like the Harvard guys are laying the lumber a little bit here. Moved out, I'd say 8 seats on the Penn crew, just short of open over Navy now. So the JV staying aggressive. We just went through the 500, almost open water at now 750 is a great start to the race, and hopefully they can keep pushing through.
Only 2 minutes deep to get to that 750 mark. It looks like the second consecutive week that this second varsity boat has come out hot.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to see. Good aggressive rowing. I think they've settled to a pretty comfortable rate now where they can just take a little bit with each stroke.
First time all year that it's been warm enough that these guys have been able to go with just their unis as well, not needing that Under Armour things below. And I heard you mention earlier that there are some rowers who don't like the constriction of having to wear the Under Armour. They're much more comfortable in this condition.
Yeah, you just feel a little more free in the boat, and you can move around and do what you need to do.
Harvard has that full boat lead on Penn, and Navy has closed on Penn to come back up to basically even with the Quakers.
Yeah, and I'd expect to see Harvard to take a big move here at the 1,000. It looks like we're at about 250 for the 1,000 here for Harvard, and a couple seconds back for that.
Expect the time to maybe be a little bit slower in this second varsity race, only because the headwind feels like it's picked up a bit. Harvard still has the lead. Navy and Penn doing just enough to keep contact right on the borderline of open water here.
Yeah, no, Navy and Penn have stayed in it. This Harvard crew is going to look to try to end it. I think they had hoped to do that with that 20, but the crews have responded, and they're staying in contact with the Harvard crew.
It's a Navy boat with 2 seniors, and it's that time of year where the seniors start to think about what comes next. And for these midshipmen, within about a month, they'll be on their way to their military training. They'll have their assignments for where they're going to start that military career, and it puts things in perspective a bit when you think about these college seniors who are on their way possibly to harm's way.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And these Navy guys have taken a good move in this third 500, and I think they're creeping up a little bit on the Harvard boat here.
Still a full-length lead for the Crimson, but that lead has not grown at all as Harvard's JV tries to finish things strong. About 600 meters to go. They've hit the first 1,400 in 4:04.
And Navy looks like they're trying to do something. I have them at 37 right now.
They've passed Penn.
Yep. Penn looks like they're fading a little bit. I have Harvard at 35. So Harvard's got a little more room to go as we just are about to hit the 1,500 now, and I've got Harvard at about 422 through the 1,500.
These have all been close competitive races so far today. We have not had any really lopsided blowouts yet.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you'll see with these Navy guys is they're not quitters. They're going to fight to the end, and so you have to be prepared for that. No, they're not just going to roll over and die.
About 400 meters to go. Harvard still in the lead. Penn has made a move back, and they've gained on Navy again.
Yeah, no, this is a great race for second place here. The Penn guys continue to row smooth, and it looks like they have a seat on the Navy guys, and they've really responded to the Navy move at, I think, was around the 1250.
Seat lead and growing, now up to maybe 2 seats for the Quakers at the bottom with Navy up top. That's going to be a neck-and-neck race for second. Harvard still holding its margin at first, though Penn is gaining a bit of ground. Doesn't look like there's enough real estate left for them to come back, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. I've got Penn at 39 now. They've really taken a lift to try to see what they can do. And they've responded to that Navy lift, and Navy is at a 39 as well. So these crews are really duking it out to see who can take second here. And Penn has taken a huge chunk out of Navy. They've probably got 7 seats over the Navy crew.
They've done it all in about 300 meters.
Yeah, a very aggressive lift here. It's shown great results. Probably have another 10 strokes to the finish now for this Penn and Navy crew.
Here comes Harvard to the line, looking to finish things off. Back-to-back impressive JV performances in back-to-back weeks for the Crimson. They come home and take first in the JV race. Now for second, Penn, a slight lead. Quakers come across, and Navy just behind. That was
tight
neck
racing.
and neck for second.
Good racing.
So Harvard with a 5:57.56 unofficially. They win by about 5 seconds over Penn, who then takes about a second over Navy.
Yeah, good racing all around. Good to see that Harvard moved out in that last 500. You know, I think we would like to see them be a bit more aggressive in the middle 1,000, but a win is a win. And you know, I think the Penn crew put together a pretty spirited race.
Now that was a great finish. Harvard with the win. Penn takes second. Navy takes third. First Varsity is coming up next on the Ivy League Digital Network.